All right, so let's talk a little bit about the COVID considerations for getting back in the gym, right? I know we're all really bummed that so much has just been taken away from us over the past few months. We're waiting to get back in the gym. We're waiting to get back to activity, although a lot of us have already started. Thankfully the weather's really nice and we've been able to get outdoors and do things. We know a lot of people have been working out outside. They've been going to parks with their friends, things like that, socially distant, of course. But one of the big things is we're waiting for the gyms to get back open, and when they do open, they're going to be flooded. A lot of us are going to be really excited to get back in there and do things that we haven't done in a long time. For those of us who don't have a lot of equipment at home, we've been at a little bit of a disadvantage, and it's a little tougher to get by. So we're really waiting for the gyms to open so we can get back in and get our fitness back up and get healthy again. So I've been talking a lot about the COVID considerations for restarting a lot of cardiovascular activity, talking a lot about more sports teams than anything else, helping them get ready for the preseason. What do they do? How do they keep their athletes healthy? So it might not be a bad idea to look back at some of the blog posts I wrote on the acute chronic workload ratio and also the New Year's resolutions. Because we see a lot of injuries come February and March from all the New Year's resolutioners where they haven't done much in a long time. Then all of a sudden, you know what? Fresh start, new year, new me. I'm going to get back in the gym. And unfortunately, every February and March, we start to see a lot of shoulders, a lot of knees, a lot of back pain, because people they don't abide by that acute chronic workload ratio concept. We're not expecting you all to memorize that, but at least understand the concept. And we don't really listen to our body, and we just kind of ramp activity back up. Overall volume just skyrockets, and it's a matter of time before your body breaks down because stress is cumulative. You're not necessarily always going to get hurt on the very first movement or the first week. Your body accumulates stress, and after a while it tends to break down, and it's usually the tendons in the shoulder, the tendons in the knee, the muscles in the back, things like that. Those are the big, large areas that are really responsible for a lot of the gross movements that we do in the gym. People like to do a lot of bang for their buck exercises, whether it's a lot of jumping, plyometrics, and ballistics, or whether it's just a lot of large muscle groups in general, complex motions, squatting, push-ups, things like that. It actually thrashes the body if your body's not ready for it. So, I've talked a lot about the COVID considerations for my athletes and my coaches, how to get them ready for the season, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what you can do when the gyms finally do open back up. We want you to be here. We want you to get back in and get fit and healthy. Justin just wrote a phenomenal blog on how we need to stop playing defense and we need to play offense. We need you guys to get healthy. And I think 2020, the rest of the 2020 year, we're going to spend promoting this idea of get healthy, get back in the gym, stop doing the bare minimum. There's no excuse to be unprepared for these viruses anymore. We know what they affect. We know how they attack our body. So let's make our bodies bulletproof, or at least as bulletproof as possible. So we're certainly not saying we need to stop working out or we need you to work out less. If you guys know us by now, we know that's the exact opposite of what we tell you to do. We want you to work out more. We want you to work out more frequently. And when it comes to your training variables, frequency, duration, and intensity, frequency is always the first thing that we increase. We want you to work out more frequently rather than less frequently. The things that we wait to introduce are higher intensity and higher volume, okay? But first things first, you have to work out more frequently. Expose your body to the motions you want to do over a long period of time more frequently. But we're just going to gradually ramp up how difficult or how intense those motions are. For instance, if I want to start doing push-ups, I'm not just going to start banging out push-ups over and over and over again. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do more push-ups. I'm going to take fewer push-ups and I'm going to spread them out through longer periods of time. I'm going to do them over a longer period of time. I'm going to do them on more days of the week rather than a lot of them on 2 or 3 days a week, okay? Or rather than a lot of them every day of the week. So I'm going to drop overall volume and intensity down and spread it out over more days. So the same concept goes for getting back in the gym and working out, whether you want to do shoulders, biceps, squats, lunges, leg day, upper body day, however you want to do it, we need to be smart about it. So let's just say your ideal workout week is 4 days a week and you want to work out 1.5 hours a day. Okay, so 1.5 hours per workout and 4 days a week, that gives you 6 hours a week, all right? So 1.5 times 4 days a week, that gives you 6 hours. So just like the other COVID considerations, we need to work backwards from that. So 6 hours is your goal week. Well, we want a 4-week ramp up period. So week 1 is going to be half of that. So 50% of your overall workload. So that's 3 hours. So you take that 180 minutes, spread it over 4 days because that's your ideal workout week, right? If you're going to do 5 days, then you take 180 minutes, you spread it over 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, and so on and so forth, whatever your ideal is, right? But for this example, 3 hours is half of your total goal work, right? So if you want to work out 6 hours a week, your total goal is now cut in half for the first week. So 180 minutes over 4 days because you want to work out 4 days a week in the future. So that's how you're going to do that. It doesn't matter how you split that up. You can have one day that's longer than an hour. You can have some days that are really short, or you can do 4 evenly spaced 45-minute workouts. It doesn't really matter. What's more important is that you alternate your body parts and you alternate the intensity of the workouts. So you don't want to just do 4 high intensity workouts and again, make up for lost time. Making up for lost time is where you're going to get yourself into trouble. That's where your body's going to start to break down, okay? So the other rules that we implement are alternate. One day is high intensity, the other day is lower intensity. Or put another way, if 5 out of 10 is medium, anything above 5 out of 10 effort is high intensity, anything below 5 out of 10 is lower intensity. So you want to alternate the overall stress of that workout or how you're creating that workout. One day can be higher intensity, the other day can lower intensity. The next day can be higher intensity, the next day lower intensity. It's really important to keep these variables in mind because they're sometimes the trick and they're sometimes the only thing that actually makes a workout safer or not. So now that we've got how much time and how many days a week and the intensity, we want to talk about the body parts. Try not to work out the same body parts on consecutive workout days. Give your body at least a day or a workout day of recovery in between. So for instance, if you're going to do 4 days, let's do upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body. Again, it's just a really simple way, a very reductionist way of looking at this. But again, we promise you it's going to help. So that's another way to look at it. Or for shoulders, if you're going to do, if you have a lot of shoulder exercises you want to do half of them on one day and do half of them on the next upper body day, okay? Don't jam them all in on one day and try and get them in every single time you want to do shoulders. Again, this is all about safety. Take 4 weeks to ramp everything up, and we promise you your body's going to thank you, okay? So, we could get a lot more complicated, but, that's really it. Take a look at the blog, read it so you can get a little bit more about, how to structure the rest of the weeks, but essentially week 1 is 50% of the overall target, week 2 is 70%, week 3 is 80%, and week 4 is 90%, so that you can get back into full 100% workload by week 5. So appreciate that 1 month to get back into it, prevent those injuries, because again, we'd much rather work with you guys for wellness purposes or for performance purposes rather than having to help you get back from an injury. We're obviously happy to help you get back from injury, but we'd much rather help you get more fit and work on performance things rather than, playing catch up from an injury. So take a look at the blog. Let us know if you have any questions. Again, this is really fun for us, helping people kind of process and sort through this. A lot of people are panicking right now. Tranquilo, we don't need to panic. You've got this, we've got this. When gyms open back up, we want you to have some intelligence, some intelligent design behind getting back into your workouts rather than just letting the floodgates open like it's Black Friday. So hope you guys are doing well. Again, reach out with any questions. Happy working out.